I just wanted to start this video off by wishing everyone a happy new year. Hope you guys had great holidays with family or friends. I was down in St. Augustine, Florida. I spent like a week or so off my computer for the first time in such a long time, just enjoying nature. It was a good experience, but while I was on my walks on the beach, looking at the waves, okay, just thinking, I was thinking back to the Derpy podcast that I was on, and he brought up a point where he said that Stadium was getting way more updates than the actual traditional Overwatch, and how while people were claiming that the Stadium developer team is separate from the actual developer team and it was only taking away map making resources, it got me thinking, what is the actual point and end game of Stadium? And is Stadium just ultimately going to be PvE 2.0 when it comes to the Overwatch franchise? Because I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't think Stadium's a very good mode. I think the pieces of the puzzle that they added into Stadium, things like the skill trees, things that ended up becoming perks in the traditional Overwatch that the gaming community knows and loves, those things are all very, very cool. But as a viable product, what is Stadium's end goal? And should it be getting the resources that it is to continue to be developed when, in my opinion, it's half-baked, it's formatted incredibly poorly, and I just don't think it's a very good mode. I'll be honest with you guys. So today's discussion video is essentially around the idea, is Stadium actually worth it? Because I do want to debunk something here first. I see a lot of people say, and please, I'd love to see your opinions down in the comments, that, well, the Stadium developer team and the Overwatch live developer team are two different teams, so it doesn't take away resources. I'm here to tell you that is a load of BS if that is your take, because at the end of the day, the check is being written. Lifeweaver's not coming up to Blizzard and Microsoft HQ. Life breathes life, spawning in a massive tree and the money's falling from it like it's a GTA 5 strip club. The check is being written, okay? Somebody's writing the check, and it's coming out of Overwatch's budget. So, in my opinion, I'm going to be real. I don't think that money should be going to Stadium. I don't think that Stadium has any realistic end goal in sight. Because here's my point. It's a glorified arcade mode. That's all it is. It's not competitive. I see why it's fun, but when you look at some of the updates that Stadium gets, and this is a point Derpy made on his podcast where he said, dude, like, Stadium, like some of the patch notes are just Stadium, and then there's like a small balance patch for the actual game. And it made me realize, dude, this is just PvE 2.0, because Stadium is not that mode. It's not. It needs maybe 3 or 4 more years in development to maybe then become a deadlock. But that's not Overwatch anymore at that point, right? Like, Perks found the perfect balance between something like Stadium and the actual hero shooter Overwatch that, I don't know, some people don't like Perks. I think they're really cool. I would love to see those resources go into Perks. But like the new ranking system, like all this hype and stuff around Stadium, like it's a good arcade mode, but that's all it is. Anybody trying to pretend that Stadium is not an arcade mode based on how it's formatted, how unserious and uncompetitive it is in the 5v5 format, where a raid boss tank is picking all of these perks where you can't swap and just absolutely bulldozing a lobby and being the strongest player in the lobby, is silly. And I understand why it's fun. I'm not saying you can't have fun in Stadium, but what is the actual end game, end goal of Stadium? And I guess that's my big question here to you guys in the audience. This goes out to Stadium enjoyers, okay? What are you happy about with where Stadium is at right now? And what do you think the end goal of the mode actually is? Because I don't see an end in sight. I see the end goal of something like Stadium to either like somehow replace original Overwatch, which it shouldn't do, or become a MOBA like Deadlock. And the difference between, I thought my audio was off. The difference between Deadlock and Stadium is just, it's night and day. It's literally the Grand Canyon of gaps, to where it's just not going to be able to compete unless it's becoming a whole new game, to which those resources should probably just go to the original game. And I've got another thing I want to bring up. I think this was the right thing to do, obviously, to bring back 6v6 open queue. But the big reason we went to 5v5, other than new game, was the queue times. But they're adding modes like Stadium that aren't finished, that aren't the end game of Overwatch, that are splitting the player base and making queue times much longer and match quality much lower. Because when the entire player base is congregated into one main mode, which I don't play quick play at all anymore, I used to, but in Overwatch 2 just got really bad. The queue times are super long there. When the whole player base is congregated into one mode, its match quality is much more consistent and queue times are much lower. But because the competitive player base is already getting siphoned off into 6v6 or over to Marvel Rivals, you're now seeing queue times and match quality go up in both modes. So having Stadium it's another fork in the road that is going to make wait times longer in a game that already has really long wait times and has gotten a little bit less consistent with its match quality. Now, I'm not saying Stadium is the odd one off that has to go. Personally, I think that 5v5 roll lock should go altogether, and the 5v5 mode that they have for Overwatch 2 should just be Stadium. Stadium should be the only 5v5 mode that they actually are offering as an arcade shooter, because 5v5 is deathmatch arcade. It's not truly Overwatch, and Marvel Rivals' success in the 6v6 open queue format goes to show that's what a peak hero shooter can be. And I think 6v6 open queue Overwatch 2 right now is better than Marvel Rivals is as a game, mainly because the game engine, there's actual real neutral in the fights, which I'm going to talk about. I'm doing a Marvel Rivals neutral fight video, cooking them for not doing a great job of opening up the neutral, coming out sometime next week most likely. But I don't see an end in sight in Stadium, and it's pulling resources away. Anybody who tried, they got so many more maps last year as well compared to like traditional Overwatch. Those resources should all be going to Overwatch, and Stadium is simply a PvE 2.0 trap. It's a trap because it's never going to finish. If somebody can sit down and tell me what the finished end product goal of Stadium is, I will hear you out. I don't see it. Like, we have a live version of the end goal product of Overwatch 2, which is the traditional 6v6 or 5v5 hero shooter. That is what the end goal is. The format is there. It's competitively viable. That is the end goal of that product. What is the end goal of Stadium? Can anyone tell me? What is it building towards? What is it trying to be? And we've been saying this for like a year now. Like, what is Stadium? It's been 10 months. And the only thing that's happened to the mode that I saw, maybe I'm wrong, you guys tell me, is that it's gotten some new heroes added to it when only half the roster is available anyway. They're going to be adding more and more heroes to the game. The Stadium update cycle can't keep up with the Overwatch 2 content cycle with heroes coming out. They're going to be working at it for years to get all the characters in the game. It will never be finished. It's an endless resource vacuum that will never be a finished product that's simply a Mickey Mouse mode anyway. Like, could those resources not go to building those types of building blocks for creating skill trees and different things for a workshop, for some of the other stuff? I don't see the vision for Stadium. I don't. And Iron and Derpy talking about it on that podcast with Painkiller as well, shout out to those guys, really opened my eyes and made me think about it like, there really is not an end goal in sight for this mode. And I was like, oh my God, it's PvE 2.0. Granted, it's going better than the PvE because I'm not saying the actual stuff and building blocks in the game to make your tree or customize your character are bad updates. Like, those are cool mechanics, but the better parts of those can just get put into the actual game. And then the resources don't go into an endless pit to just have the game inevitably be arcade in the end anyway. It will always be arcade. Why is an arcade mode getting that much resources and attention and updates compared to the actual game? It's just Overwatch 2 PvE all over again. Maybe I'm wrong, and I would love to hear some opinions on that, but do you guys think that Stadium is the end goal to make Overwatch 2 back on the map? It's the next big thing. Or do you think, because it's going to compete with Deadlock, it's not going to beat Deadlock. It's never going to come close to Deadlock. Never. And I love the Overwatch engine. I love all those things. But the way it's formatted right now, like, it would need an enormous formatting change, which it might get. That could be the big shakeup they're building towards. But it would literally have to be built out like a MOBA with like the biggest format change the game's ever seen. And I just have not seen it yet. Maybe I'll eat crow on that and they'll release something super cool with a ton of depth to it on top of other things. But at least right now, I don't see the end goal for it. And if it's in 5v5 with super tanks, it will be a flop immediately because super tanks, like, you can't even swap in that mode. And don't give me, oh, you can just pick the trees to counter it. There is no countering a character that does equal to more damage than you that has 4 to 5 times your health. It's not possible. And you can't even swap to a better matchup. So it's just, I think it's Mickey Mouse. Some people like the Disney Channel, and that's fine, but I don't think a Mickey Mouse mode should be getting the resources over the original formula that works so well. It's the same thing with this stupid challenger leaderboard. The developers in this game will do anything but go back to the systems that won them Game of the Year. It baffles me. I'll have a separate video talking about how awful of an idea the challenger score system is. It's the single worst competitive update that's not an exaggeration. The worst idea of all time in a competitive shooter that I have ever seen in my life. But Overwatch is not a competitive shooter anymore. It's a K-pop skin simulator. Hot take. But no, man, I think it's just ridiculous. We'll talk about the challenger score. We'll flame the rivals neutral, but Stadium connoisseurs, please let me know what you think the end game is down below. Why do you like Stadium? Why do you not like Stadium? I'm really curious what you guys would like to say as we head into 2026, the 10-year anniversary of Overwatch. So let me know down below, guys. I'd love to see your opinions. Thanks for watching. Catch y'all later. Take care. Much love. Peace out.